Welcome to Speak English Confident. I'm Nora, and I'm really happy you are here with me today. Today, we talk about something very human, something almost every English learner experiences. You know what it sounds like? I will do it tomorrow. I will speak when my English is better. I will try next time. But tomorrow keeps moving, and slowly opportunities move too. Yes, I feel attacked already. I say that sentence all the time. Tomorrow I will ask my boss. Tomorrow I will negotiate salary. Tomorrow I will call the client. But tomorrow never feels safe enough. Exactly. Many learners are not afraid of English grammar. They are afraid of high-stakes moments, moments where speaking English actually matters, not classroom English, real-life English, when money is involved, when respect is involved, when confidence is visible. Yes, when the situation feels serious, my English disappears. If I talk with friends, I can speak, but if I must negotiate or explain something important, my brain freezes. That freezing feeling is very normal. Your brain is not only translating language, your brain is protecting you. It asks, what if I sound wrong? What if they misunderstand me? What if I lose this opportunity? So you postpone, and postponing feels safe. But later, I feel bad about myself. I think, why didn't I speak? I replay the conversation in my head. Yes, that is the emotional cost of postponing English. Today, we change one idea. You do not need perfect English to negotiate. You need clear English and calm courage. And courage grows only when used. Gentle tone. Let's start with a simple truth. Negotiation is not fighting. Negotiation is conversation. That already makes me feel calmer because I imagine negotiation like a movie scene, people speaking fast, strong vocabulary, big confidence. Movies are dangerous teachers. Real negotiations are usually quiet conversations. You ask, you explain, you listen, you adjust. That's all. Today, we will learn how to stop waiting for tomorrow and start speaking today English, the English you already have. Let me ask you something, Mile. When was the last time you postponed speaking English? Yesterday, actually. My manager asked if anyone wanted to lead a small project meeting. I wanted to try, but I stayed silent. I told myself, next time. What did you feel in that moment? My heart was fast. I was thinking about mistakes before even speaking. I imagined people judging my English. That is very important. You were negotiating something invisible. Not salary, not business. You were negotiating your place in the room. Many learners think negotiation only means money or contracts, but daily life is full of negotiations. Asking for help, requesting time, setting boundaries, sharing ideas, saying no politely. Every time you speak, you negotiate understanding. So, English negotiation happens every day? Exactly. Let's explore a real situation many listeners know. Gentle tone. Imagine you need more time to finish work. Your boss says, "Can you finish this today?" Inside your mind, you know it's impossible, but instead of negotiating, many learners say yes, then they suffer silently. Yes, I do that. I agree first, then stress later. Because saying yes feels safer than explaining in English, but confident speakers do something different. They negotiate respectfully. Listen carefully. I'd like to finish it well. I may need one more day. Would tomorrow afternoon work? Simple English, clear message, respectful tone. That sounds easy when you say it, but in the moment, I panic. Of course, because negotiation has two challenges, language challenge and emotional challenge. Today, we train both. Small practice moment. Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. I want to do a good job. Pause. Feeling. I want to do a good job. Good. Now add negotiation language. I want to do a good job, so I need more time. I want to do a good job, so I need more time. Perfect. Notice something important. You are not refusing, you are explaining purpose. So negotiation English is not aggressive English. Exactly. Many learners think confidence means strong or loud speech, but real confidence sounds calm. Can I ask something honest? Sometimes I postpone because I feel my English level is too low for serious conversations. That belief stops millions of learners. Let me tell you a secret. High-level English is not required for high-level communication. Clarity beats complexity. Here are sentences successful negotiators use every day. Let me think about that. Can we discuss another option? I understand your point. What do you suggest? These are beginner-friendly sentences, but they create powerful conversations. So, I already know negotiation English? Yes, you already own many tools. The problem is not vocabulary, the problem is permission. You have not given yourself permission to speak imperfectly. That feels true. I wait until I feel ready. And readiness never arrives first. Action creates readiness. Let's imagine another daily situation. You are buying something expensive. Maybe a service, maybe equipment, maybe rent for an apartment. You want a better price. Many learners avoid negotiating because they fear misunderstanding, so they accept immediately. Yes, I feel embarrassed asking for a discount in English. Let's make it simple. You don't need complicated phrases. You can say, "Is there any flexibility in the price?" That one sentence opens negotiation politely. That sounds professional. Yes, and notice no advanced grammar. Confidence comes from useful phrases, not difficult words. Gentle tone. I want you to imagine something. Two versions of yourself. Version 1 waits for perfect English. Version 2 speaks with today's English. After 1 year, who grows faster? The second one, obviously. Exactly. Fluency grows in uncomfortable moments. Every postponed conversation is lost training, but every imperfect conversation is progress. Emotional reality check. Mile, what is your biggest fear during negotiation? Honestly, sounding stupid, or people switching to another language because my English is slow. Thank you for saying that. Many listeners feel the same. Here is a powerful mindset shift. When you negotiate slowly, you often sound more thoughtful, not less intelligent. Pauses signal consideration. You can even say, "Give me a moment to think." This is professional English. So, slowing down is allowed? Not only allowed, recommended. Fast English is not confident English. Clear English is confident English. Let's try a mini role play. You are speaking with a client who wants faster delivery. I will be the client. Ready? Okay, I'll try. We need this finished by Friday. I want to help, but Friday is difficult. Can we make it Monday? Beautiful. You negotiated. You didn't apologize for existing. You offered an alternative. That felt surprisingly good. Because negotiation is cooperation, not conflict. Today's lesson begins with one promise. Stop saying, "I will speak tomorrow." Replace it with, "I will try today." Even one sentence changes your identity. You move from learner to communicator. I like that. Not perfect speaker, just communicator. Exactly. And during this episode, we will slowly build your ability to handle serious conversations without fear. We will practice real situations, real emotions, real English. Because confidence is not born in theory. It grows inside conversation. Let's continue, exploring what really happens inside the mind when a learner faces a high-stakes moment and why postponing feels comfortable but secretly steals confidence, little by little. Let's stay inside that moment we just touched, the moment right before speaking, that quiet second when your mind says, maybe not now. Most learners believe hesitation comes from lack of vocabulary, but hesitation usually comes from something deeper. Your brain is asking one emotional question. Am I safe speaking right now?
Yes, that feels very true. Sometimes I know what I want to say. The sentence is already in my head, but I still don't speak.
Exactly, because negotiation situations activate pressure. There is a tension, expectation, sometimes authority. Your brain suddenly treats English like a performance instead of communication, and performance creates fear. Communication creates connection.
So I turn a conversation into an exam.
Yes, many learners carry invisible exam stress into daily life. Let's look at a common real-life example. You want to ask your boss for clarification. The task instructions are not clear. Instead of asking questions, you work silently. Later, mistakes happen. Then, stress grows.
I've done that many times. I was afraid my question would sound simple or stupid.
But confident communicators understand something important. Questions show professionalism, not weakness. Here are powerful negotiation phrases for clarification. Just to make sure I understand. Could you explain that part again? I want to confirm the priority. These sentences protect you. They prevent misunderstanding. I like just to make sure I understand. It sounds polite. Yes. Notice how negotiation language often softens direct requests. Instead of saying, you didn't explain clearly, you say, I want to make sure I understand. Same purpose, better emotional effect. The psychology of tomorrow. Let's talk about tomorrow. Why do we promise ourselves we will speak later? Because tomorrow feels emotionally cheaper. Tomorrow has no risk. Tomorrow never interrupts you. But tomorrow also never builds confidence. Confidence only grows when risk meets action. So we need a small strategy, not big bravery, small bravery. What is small bravery? Speaking earlier than comfortable. Not perfectly ready, just slightly ready. For example, instead of leading the whole meeting, you ask one question. Instead of negotiating salary immediately, you ask about responsibilities first. You step into the conversation slowly.
That feels possible. Big courage feels scary. Small courage feels realistic.
Exactly. Fluency is built from many small, courageous moments. Real life scenario. Asking for help. Imagine you are overwhelmed at work. Too many tasks. You need help, but English makes you hesitate. Many learners say nothing. They struggle alone. But negotiation includes requesting support. Listen carefully. I want to complete everything well, but I may need support with this part. That sounds respectful. Yes, you are not complaining. You are negotiating workload. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I may need support with this. I may need support with this. Good. Now expand. I may need support with this to meet the deadline. I may need support with this to meet the deadline. Excellent. You see how simple English creates professional impact.
Sometimes I worry people will think my English level equals my intelligence level.
That fear is deeply human. But here is something powerful. People evaluate confidence more than grammar. If you speak calmly and clearly, listeners focus on your message, not your mistakes. Also remember, native speakers negotiate imperfectly too. They pause, they search for words, they restart sentences. Fluency is not perfection, it is participation.
Participation. I like that word.
Yes, you don't need to dominate conversations. You only need to enter them. Hidden habit, over-apologizing. Let's discuss another habit that blocks negotiation, over-apologizing. Many learners start every serious sentence with, "Sorry for my English." "Sorry, maybe this is wrong." "Sorry, I'm not good at English." That's me. It feels polite, but it weakens your message. You reduce your authority before speaking. Instead, try appreciation language. Say, "Thank you for your patience," or "Let me explain my idea."
So instead of apologizing, I move directly to communication.
Exactly. Confidence grows when you respect your own voice. Role play practice, setting a boundary. Let's try another role play. You already finished your workday. A colleague asks you to do extra work immediately. You're tired. You need to negotiate respectfully. I will be the colleague. Ready?
Okay, I'll try. Can you finish this tonight? I want to help, but I've completed my hours today. Can I work on it tomorrow morning?
Excellent negotiation. You did 3 things. You showed willingness, you stated your limit, you offered an alternative. That is professional English.
It feels less scary when I have a structure.
Yes, negotiation confidence often comes from structure. Here's a simple formula: acknowledge, explain, offer option. Example: I understand the urgency. I need more time. Can we move the deadline? 3 steps, very powerful. Emotional moment. Can I share something personal? Sometimes I postpone important conversations because I'm afraid success will change expectations. If I speak confidently once, maybe people expect perfect English forever. That is a very honest fear. Growth sometimes feels dangerous because improvement changes identity. You move from learner to professional, and that transition can feel uncomfortable. But remember, confidence is not a permanent performance. Some days you speak smoothly, some days you struggle. Both are normal.
So, confidence is not a level I reach forever?
No, confidence is a habit you practice repeatedly. Every conversation resets the practice. Negotiation vocabulary, naturally. Let's learn a few negotiation expressions that work almost everywhere. I see your point. This shows respect. From my perspective, this introduces your opinion calmly. Would it be possible to? A polite request. Let's find a solution. Collaborative language. These sound calm, not aggressive. Yes, the goal is cooperation, not winning. Many learners think negotiation means convincing others, but real negotiation means building agreement. Speaking practice together. Let's practice combining phrases. Repeat slowly. I see your point, but from my perspective, we may need more time. I see your point, but from my perspective, we may need more time. Beautiful. Now another one. Would it be possible to discuss another option? Would it be possible to discuss another option? Excellent. You are already negotiating professionally. I'm starting to notice something. Negotiation English is actually emotional English. Yes, you are managing feelings, yours and theirs. Language becomes a bridge between needs. And when learners stop postponing conversations, something surprising happens. They discover people are usually cooperative. Most people want clarity, not perfection. Let's imagine a high-stakes moment. You want a salary increase. Many learners wait months, even years. They prepare perfect sentences, but never schedule the conversation. Why? Because uncertainty feels heavy. So we reduce uncertainty with preparation language. You can start simply by saying, "I'd like to talk about my role in future growth."
That sounds professional, but not demanding.
Exactly. You open discussion instead of making pressure. Negotiation begins with invitation, not confrontation. I'm realizing I don't avoid English, I avoid emotional risk. That insight changes everything. English is only the tool, courage is the real skill. And courage grows through repetition. Every time you speak earlier instead of later, your brain learns, I survived, I communicated, I belong here. And slowly, tomorrow loses power over you. Let's continue exploring how to handle the exact moment when conversations become uncomfortable, when disagreement appears, and many learners suddenly want to escape the discussion. Let's enter one of the most difficult moments in communication, the moment when agreement disappears. Everything feels comfortable when people say yes. Confidence feels easy when everyone agrees. But real negotiation begins when someone says, I don't think that works.
Oh, that moment makes me nervous immediately. When someone disagrees, I feel like I failed.
That reaction is very common. Many English learners connect disagreement with rejection, but disagreement is not rejection. Disagreement is information. It simply means two perspectives exist.
So, disagreement is normal conversation?
Exactly. Professional conversations include different opinions. Confident speakers do not avoid disagreement. They learn how to stay calm inside it. Today, we practice that skill.
The freeze moment.
Mile, imagine this situation. You present an idea in a meeting. Someone responds, I'm not convinced. What happens inside you?
My mind goes blank. I feel embarrassed. I want to stop talking quickly. Sometimes I just say, okay, even if I still believe in my idea.
Yes, that is the freeze response. Your brain tries to escape discomfort, but negotiation requires staying present. You don't need perfect arguments. You only need calm continuation. Here is a powerful sentence. Thank you for sharing that. Could you tell me which part feels slow?
That sounds confident and calm.
Because you transform disagreement into dialogue. Instead of defending immediately, you invite explanation. And something interesting happens. When people explain their concerns, the emotional tension decreases.
Emotional skill. Listening as negotiation.
Many learners think negotiation means speaking more, but strong negotiators often listen more. Listening gives you power.
Listening feels safer for me.
Good. Then you already have an advantage. Let's practice listening language. Repeat after me. That's helpful to know.
That's helpful to know.
Very good. Another one. I understand your concern.
I understand your concern.
Excellent. These phrases show respect without surrendering your position. You acknowledge emotion before offering your idea.
Sometimes I worry that if I agree too much, people think I accept everything.
Important observation. Agreement and acknowledgement are different. You can acknowledge without agreeing. Example, I understand your concern. From my perspective, this approach still has benefits. You respect them and keep your voice.
Ah, so negotiation is balance.
Yes, balance between listening and expressing.
Real-life scenario. Client pushback.
Let's try a role play. You propose a project timeline. I will respond as the client. Ready?
Okay.
This timeline feels too slow.
Thank you for sharing that. Could you tell me which part feels slow?
Excellent response. You stayed calm, you asked for clarity, you kept the conversation open. Now continue. I will answer. The review stage seems long. I understand. The review stage helps us avoid mistakes. Would you prefer fewer review steps or shorter meetings? Beautiful negotiation. You offered options instead of arguments. That actually felt natural. Because structured language reduces emotional pressure, you no longer need to invent English and panic.
When you don't understand. One of my biggest fears is misunderstanding during negotiation. Sometimes people speak fast or use unfamiliar words. Then I pretend I understand.
Many learners do this, but pretending understanding creates bigger problems later. Confident communicators clarify immediately. Here are powerful rescue sentences. Could you say that another way? I want to make sure I understood correctly. Do you mean?
Do you mean? I like do you mean because it feels interactive.
Yes, you actively participate instead of passively guessing. Remember, clarity is professional behavior. Misunderstanding silently is not politeness.
Emotional regulation during negotiation.
Let's talk about emotions. High-stakes conversations activate stress. Your heart beats faster, your thoughts race. When this happens, your English ability temporarily drops.
Yes, sometimes I feel less fluent than usual.
That is not language failure, that is biology. Stress reduces working memory, so we need calming techniques inside conversation. Here is one simple method. Pause and breathe while speaking. You can say, "Let me think for a moment." This gives your brain recovery time.
So pauses aren't weakness?
No, pauses are leadership signals. They show thoughtfulness. Many experienced professionals pause intentionally.
The power of slower English.
Let's practice slower speaking. Say this sentence slowly. I'd like to consider another option.
I'd like to consider another option.
Very good. Notice how slowing down increases clarity. When learners rush, mistakes increase and anxiety grows. Slow speech creates control.
I realize I rush because I want to finish quickly.
Yes, you try to escape pressure, but negotiation rewards calm pacing.
Handling direct disagreement.
Sometimes disagreement becomes stronger. Someone may say, "I don't agree with you." Many learners panic here, but you can respond calmly. "I appreciate your honesty. Let's explore both ideas."
That sounds confident and respectful.
Yes, you transform conflict into collaboration. Let's practice together. Repeat, "I appreciate your honesty."
I appreciate your honesty.
Good. Now add, "Let's explore both ideas."
Let's explore both ideas.
Excellent. You see how negotiation language invites teamwork.
Hidden confidence builder. I'm noticing something surprising. These sentences are simple, but they make me feel more professional.
Because confidence often comes from preparation, not personality. You don't need to become a different person. You only need reliable phrases ready in your mind. When stress appears, prepared language protects you.
Real life scenario. Saying no.
Now we enter another difficult area, saying no. Many learners avoid saying no in English because it feels rude, so they agree and later feel frustrated.
Yes, saying no feels dangerous.
But polite refusal is essential negotiation skill. Here is a powerful structure. Appreciation, limitation, alternative. Example, "I appreciate the opportunity. I'm not available this week, but I can help next Monday."
That sounds respectful.
Yes, you protect relationships while protecting yourself. Let's practice. "I invite you to work this weekend."
Thank you for asking. I'm not available this weekend, but I can support next week.
Perfect. Clear, polite, professional.
Emotional reflection.
Mile, how do you feel now compared to the beginning of our conversation?
Honestly, calmer. I always imagined negotiation as confrontation. Now it feels like structured conversation.
That shift is powerful. When fear decreases, fluency increases naturally because your brain stops defending and starts communicating. Let's go deeper into something many learners experience but rarely discuss: self-doubt during important conversations. You may speak well for several minutes, then suddenly think, "My English sounds bad. I should stop talking," and confidence drops instantly.
Yes, that happens to me in the middle of speaking.
That voice is called internal negotiation. You negotiate against yourself, and often you lose before the conversation ends. In our next exploration, we'll learn how to manage that internal voice, how to stay mentally steady while speaking English in situations that truly matter, even when confidence feels fragile and uncertainty appears. Let's stay with that internal voice we mentioned, the quiet voice inside your mind during important conversations, not the other person's voice, your own voice. Sometimes it whispers, "You sound strange. They speak better than you. You should stop now." And suddenly, your confidence drops, even if the conversation is going well.
Yes, it feels like I become my own enemy. No one says anything negative, but I start judging myself.
Exactly. This is one of the biggest hidden challenges for English learners. You are not only negotiating with another person, you are negotiating with your own thoughts. And self-doubt speaks very fast, much faster than English.
Yes, my negative thoughts are very fluent.
That happens to many people. The brain tries to protect identity. When you speak English in high-stakes situations, you step outside your comfort zone. Your brain reacts by trying to pull you back to safety. But confidence grows when you learn to continue speaking while uncertainty exists, not after uncertainty disappears. The confidence shift. Let me share an important mindset change. Confident speakers do not wait to feel confident. They speak before confidence arrives. Confidence follows action.
So, confidence is a result, not a starting point.
Exactly. Many learners reverse the order. They think first confidence, then speaking. But real growth works like this: first speaking, then experience, then confidence. Managing the inner voice. When self-doubt appears during conversation, do not fight it aggressively. Instead, acknowledge it quietly. You can think, "I feel nervous, and that's okay. I will continue."
That sounds kinder than telling myself to stop being nervous.
Yes, kindness stabilizes your mind. Harsh self-criticism increases anxiety and blocks language recall. Let's practice a mental sentence listeners can use. Repeat silently or aloud. I don't need perfect English to communicate clearly.
I don't need perfect English to communicate clearly.
Good. Now another. My message matters.
My message matters.
Beautiful. These sentences reshape internal negotiation. Real life scenario. Speaking in meetings. Imagine you are in a meeting. Several people speak confidently. You want to contribute an idea. Your internal voice says, "They sound more professional than you." What do?
Normally, I stay silent.
Today, we try a different approach. You don't need a long speech. You enter the conversation with a bridge sentence. For example, "I'd like to add one small point."
That feels manageable.
Yes, short entry phrases reduce pressure. Other useful entries: "May I share an idea? Can I add something here? I have a quick suggestion." You open space gently.
I like one small point. It feels less scary than presenting a big idea.
Exactly. Small entries build speaking momentum. Once you start, ideas flow more naturally. Role play practice. Joining a discussion. Let's practice. We're in a team discussion. I will speak first. We should focus only on speed for this project.
I'd like to add one small point. Quality may also be important for long-term results.
Excellent. Clear, calm, professional. You didn't interrupt aggressively. You joined respectfully.
I notice I don't need complicated English to sound professional.
Yes, professional communication depends more on structure than vocabulary. When you make a mistake during negotiation,
But what if I make a grammar mistake during negotiation? Sometimes I hear my mistake immediately and panic.
here is a powerful truth. Mistakes are normal signals of active communication. Confident speakers do one of two things. They correct quickly or they continue naturally. Example, I have finished the report. Then continue speaking. No drama.
So I don't need to stop and apologize many times.
Exactly. Long apologies break conversational flow. Small correction keeps momentum. Your goal is communication, not perfection. Emotional energy in negotiation. Let's talk about energy. High-stakes conversations require emotional energy. Many learners feel exhausted after speaking English seriously.
Yes, after meetings in English, I feel mentally tired.
That is normal cognitive effort. You are processing language, emotion, and strategy at the same time. So strong communicators manage energy wisely. Before important conversations, try 3 simple actions: slow breathing, clear intention, simple opening sentence prepared.
Preparing the opening sentence sounds helpful.
Very helpful, because starting is the hardest part. Once the conversation begins, your brain adapts. Preparation practice. Let's practice preparing an opening sentence. Imagine you need to discuss workload with your manager. Your opening could be, "I'd like to talk about how we can manage priorities more effectively."
That sounds calm and professional.
Yes. Notice the focus on collaboration. You are not complaining, you are inviting problem solving. Another example for negotiation: "I'd like to review our current agreement and explore possible improvements."
I can imagine using that in many situations.
Exactly. Flexible phrases reduce fear. The turning point moment. There is usually a turning point in every learner's journey, a moment when you speak despite fear. After that moment, something changes internally. You realize, I can handle real conversations.
I remember one time I successfully explained a problem to an international client. I was nervous before, but after the meeting, I felt proud.
That pride is important. Your brain recorded success. Confidence grows from remembered victories. So after every brave conversation, take a moment to acknowledge yourself. Say, "I did it," even if the English was imperfect.
I rarely celebrate small successes. I only notice mistakes.
Many learners do that, but confidence grows where attention goes. If you only focus on errors, fear increases. If you notice progress, courage expands. Advanced emotional skill, staying present. During negotiation, your mind may jump to future worries, like, what if they reject me? What if I lose this opportunity? But strong communicators stay present. Focus only on the next sentence, not the final result.
That feels relieving. I don't need to control everything, just the next sentence.
Exactly. Communication happens one sentence at a time. Practice. Grounding phrase. Let's practice a grounding phrase. When anxiety rises, quietly think, one sentence at a time.
One sentence at a time.
Good. This keeps your mind anchored in the present conversation. Now, you may notice something changing now. Negotiation no longer feels like a dangerous event. It begins to feel like a skill you can practice daily. You ask, you listen, you respond, you adjust. And slowly, the habit of postponing disappears because you trust your ability to handle real moments.
I feel like I'm finally understanding that confidence is built during conversation, not before it.
Exactly. And now we arrive at the final transformation, the moment when learners stop identifying themselves as someone learning English and begin seeing themselves as people who use English to shape their lives. Let's move into that stage, where negotiation becomes natural, decisions become clearer, and speaking English becomes part of who you are, not something you wait to be. There comes a quiet moment in every learner's journey. Not a dramatic moment, not a perfect speech, not a day when suddenly all fear disappears. It's simpler than that. You notice yourself speaking without asking permission from fear. You respond before overthinking. You ask questions naturally. You express needs clearly. And afterward, you realize something important. You didn't wait for tomorrow. You spoke today.
I think I'm beginning to understand that feeling. Earlier, I believed confident English speakers were different people. Now I feel they just made one decision repeatedly. They stopped postponing.
Exactly. Confidence is not a personality type. It is a habit of participation. Every time you choose to speak instead of delaying, you reshape your identity. You move from observer to participant. The final shift from learner to communicator. Many people stay trapped in the identity of English learner. They wait to graduate from learning before living fully in English. But something powerful happens when you change one sentence. Instead of saying, I am learning English, you begin saying, I use English.
That feels very different emotionally.
Yes, because using language creates ownership. You no longer wait for perfection. You use English to solve problems, to build relationships, to negotiate opportunities. English becomes a tool for life, not a test you must pass. Real-life integration. Let's imagine your next week. Small moments appear. A colleague asks your opinion. A customer requests a change. A manager discusses plans. A service provider explains options. Each moment becomes an invitation, not an exam, an invitation to communicate.
So, negotiation isn't only big career conversations, it's daily communication choices.
Exactly. Every time you clarify, request, or express preference, you negotiate your experience of life. You say, this is what I understand. This is what I need. This is what I suggest. And slowly, people begin to see you differently, not as someone silent, but as someone engaged. The courage loop. Let me describe something I call the courage loop. First, you try speaking. Then you survive the moment. Then confidence increases slightly. Then you try again. Small courage creates small success. Small success creates stronger courage. That feels realistic, not sudden transformation, just steady growth. Yes, fluency grows quietly, one conversation at a time. Final role play, a complete negotiation. Let's do one final role play together. You will combine everything we practiced. Imagine you are discussing a new responsibility at work. I will be your manager. Ready? Ready. We'd like you to take on additional tasks starting next month. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm interested in growing in this role. Could we discuss priorities to make sure I can maintain quality? Very professional. I appreciate that approach. We may also expect faster delivery.
I understand the need for speed. From my perspective, clear timelines will help me deliver strong results. Would it be possible to review deadlines together?
Excellent negotiation. You acknowledged, you explained, you collaborated.
That felt confident, but also calm.
Because true confidence feels calm, not loud, not aggressive, just clear. Emotional reflection.
You know what surprises me most? I thought learning negotiation English meant learning difficult words, but actually it meant learning how to trust myself while speaking.
Yes, language skill and emotional skill grow together. When you trust your ability to communicate imperfectly, fluency expands naturally. You stop hiding behind preparation. You start living inside conversations. Speaking practice for listeners. Before we close, let's give our listeners one final speaking practice. Wherever you are right now, repeat slowly, I will speak today. I will speak today. Again, my English is enough to communicate.
My English is enough to communicate.
And one more, I don't wait for tomorrow anymore.
I don't wait for tomorrow anymore.
Beautiful. These are not just sentences, they are decisions. One day soon, you will have a conversation that once scared you. You will ask a question you used to avoid. You will express disagreement respectfully. You will negotiate calmly. And afterward, you may not even feel proud immediately, because it will start to feel normal. That is the moment growth becomes identity. You no longer try to be confident. You simply are.
I feel hopeful hearing that. Like confidence is not far away, just built step by step.
Exactly. You don't need a new personality. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need permission. You only need willingness to speak before fear finishes its argument. Thank you for spending this time with us today on Speak English Confident. Wherever you are listening from, remember this: your voice deserves space in conversations that matter. Speak when your idea feels small. Speak when your English feels imperfect. Speak when your heart feels nervous. Because every time you choose to speak today instead of tomorrow, you move closer to the confident communicator you are becoming.
Thank you, Nora. I feel like today I didn't just learn English, I learned how to stop waiting.
And that is where real fluency begins. Take a slow breath. Carry one sentence with you today, just one, and use it in a real conversation. Your journey continues every time you speak. This is Nora and Mile reminding you to speak with courage, speak with clarity, and speak English with confidence.